today?
Let's just start with this first one that dropped today, that the church is adding 55 missions effective July 1st of 2026.
That's a lot of missions.
That is a lot of missions. That is 55 new mission presidents and presidencies,
right.
mission offices, mission cars, mission everything.
All the organization.
All the organization.
As the cold winds of winter sweep in, there's nothing like the warmth of a comforting cup to help you slow down and unwind. This is the season. Let Postum be your cozy companion. Made from roasted grains, Postum is caffeine-free and rich with a smooth roasted flavor. It's the perfect drink for those quiet, chilly mornings. Whether you're curled up with a good book, sharing a laugh with loved ones, or simply watching the snow fall outside, a cup of Postum is the moment you have been waiting for.
Hello, welcome to This Week in Mormons, the Twin Sisters edition with your hosts, Ariane Smith
and Tiffany Hales.
The sisters.
Yay!
In real life.
Exactly. It's October.
Here we
are. So we're getting our monthly recording in.
Mm-hmm. Not much new with me, like church-wise this month.
Okay, I seriously do not think you and I have talked in like 2 weeks.
I know.
Like we did our recording like a month ago, and we've maybe talked like twice since then. It's been more me like, hey, I need to borrow this. Hey, can I get that back?
I know. It's been a crazy month. We're just passing stuff up back and forth.
We are passing stuff back and forth.
But I currently have a robot baby living in my house for the weekend. So we're recording at your house.
Because of the robot baby?
Which is probably good. My house is a little chaotic. My house is always chaotic, but now I have a robot baby.
You might want to explain to our listeners who may or may not be familiar with what a robot baby is.
Yes.
What a robot baby is and why you have one at your house.
I did not know this until I had teenage. Well, this is the first time we've done it. But in high school, the class.
How did your older girl escape not having to do that?
She was smart.
Oh, she didn't take the class.
She saw her friends do it. She's like, I'm never taking that class.
Oh.
So the class, I don't know what they call it now. Child development.
Okay.
Home ec. Something
along that line.
Child and human development, whatever it is. You know the class. It's been around. Tale as old as time.
Okay.
So back in my day, I never took it in high school either.
Okay.
But I do remember back in my day, they either had an egg baby that they had to like protect, and it was part of their grade, or a flour baby, like a sack of flour.
Like a 5-pound bag of flour.
That they had to carry around, and like that was their baby, and it was like an assignment, and you had to like do research on babies and how to take care of babies. Well,
we've gotten a little more advanced since the 90s.
Yes, we have. We have upped the game, and now they send you home with a full-blown robotic baby that is pre-programmed. It cries. There's a wristband that my daughter's a sophomore. She decided to take this class. The whole family, well, her older sister, me, and her dad were like, please don't take this class. Please don't take this class. We know what this entails. We've all seen students walking around with the robot babies. She didn't listen.
She took the class.
She took the class. This is her weekend for the robot baby. The robot baby cries. It's like pre-programmed. She has a wristband on her wrist. When the baby cries, she like holds her wristband up to the baby and it goes ding. And then after it does that, she has to figure out why it's crying. She either feeds it a bottle, burps it, changes it, rocks it, and soothes it. And you also have to like support its neck. And it can sense being shaken. If you get real mad at the robot baby.
This is very advanced.
Yes. Like, at least this is what the teacher says, unless he's exaggerating just to scare the crap out of these kids. But, like, you're not allowed to shake or kick or throw the robot baby, or the baby will, like, record that and you will get an F. So all of this data is being recorded from Friday night until Monday at 8 a.m. when she gives the baby back.
Oh, good gravy. So you have to take the robot baby to church?
Well, she lucked out. We have state conference this weekend, and our state conference is still available via YouTube.
Oh, okay.
She was so relieved because she thought she was going to have to take it to church.
Oh gosh.
And there was another girl in our ward that had one at church last week, and we were sitting right behind them, and I was dying because she got up, like, of course it went off, like,
In the sacrament,
Yeah.
during
so
sacrament.
she gets up and leaves, and then she comes back, and she had to get up and leave again, and then she came back, and it went off during the closing prayer. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh.
Like that baby, I was like, it's like the baby knows.
I think the teacher programs the baby.
Well, he does. I asked my daughter, I was like, okay, so who programs it? Is it random? And she said, no, the teacher goes through and programs him, and he's been threatening us all semester. Like, you better be good or I'll give you a bad baby. Let me just say, we've had this baby in our home for 4 hours so far tonight. She has a bad baby. I think your baby has colic. And then I'm like, does your teacher hate you? And I'm like, are you naughty in class? And she goes, no, Mom, I don't even think he knows my name. I'm quiet. I was like, okay, well, clearly you're not his favorite. So I'm hoping that like the baby's getting all the crying out now and maybe she can sleep tonight. But I made her move downstairs to the guest bedroom to sleep tonight
'Cause you're like-
I share a wall with her.
You're like, I have been there. I have done that 4 times with crying babies.
Yeah. And we told her when she took this class, we were like, we're not babysitting. This is your assignment. And actually that's what the teacher was. Like I went to back to school night and he was like, this is for them. Don't be taking care of their babies.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a sisters group text. And so when you sent this tonight to me and our other sister, Ciaran, saying you think the baby has colic, I was laughing and I said, send it to Ciaran. It's payback for her because I was 15 when she was born and that kid had colic. And our mom did our dad was always gone in the evenings because he was in the stake presidency. Our mom had church callings that took her out in the evenings, or sometimes she was teaching sewing. And so I was left at home in the evenings, which is when Ciaran liked to cry, and she cried. And let me tell you, I didn't have to have a flour sack baby. I didn't have to have a robo baby. I got the real thing.
You had
And
the
it
real
wasn't
thing.
something I could return at the end of the weekend. And there is a reason why I was 33 when I had my first baby.
I know.
I
mean, I do think if the message is for these young kids to like
babies aren't cute.
think twice about having a baby, I do think this might be effective because she is already like, I can tell that my daughter has had it. Like when I left the house tonight, she was ready for bed and she was like, I hope I get some sleep tonight. And like, I could just see on her face that she's already like, I'm like, oh, it is going to be a very long weekend. She has like had it with this baby.
Okay. Well, I hope your third daughter is taking mental note of all of this because she's in 6th grade.
Yes.
So she has a few years before she will be a sophomore that she's taking mental note and going, I'm not taking that
Oh,
class.
I guarantee you. Like when that baby came home today, she's like, I'm going to hold the baby. And so she's held it a few times for her sister. But I guarantee you that like after she sees what happens tonight, like by tomorrow afternoon, she'll have figured this out and she'll be like, I'm never taking that class.
Meanwhile, you and your husband are going, we told you not to take that class.
I know. It's one of those I told you so moments where you really want to say, like, I told you so. I told you so. Why'd you not listen to me? I'm so smart.
Okay. Well, I am having far less trauma in my house than you are in yours. We have just been a bevy of church activities. Last weekend, Darren and I had our very last big stake youth activity.
It was your last one.
We had this calling. I don't know if it was a calling or an assignment or what you would call it for a year to be on this stake committee to put on these big quarterly youth activities. And so we had our last one last weekend. It was fantastic. They did kind of a carnival thing. And so we were in charge of the food. So we did 4 food things. We did cotton candy, we did funnel cakes, we did J-Dog knockoffs, and we did homemade root beer and root beer floats. Would you like to venture to guess the most popular food item that there was always a line for?
I'm going to guess funnel cakes.
You would be incorrect.
Really? What was it?
The cotton candy.
What was the cotton candy?
Oh, those kids wanted to mash down cotton candy.
Kids do love cotton candy.
And boy, howdy was it messy.
It is messy.
You did not. You
I
have
didn't
a.
properly warn you.
You did not properly warn me. So Ariane is doing cotton candy fundraisers for the dance team this year.
Yes, we're in the cotton candy business now at all the home football games.
Yes.
So now I'm a cotton candy.
So I
expert.
called you for tips and tricks, and you never told me how messy it was going to be.
I guess I forgot that. Were you outside or inside?
Well, when we practiced, we were inside my house, and it didn't
Uh-huh.
seem as messy inside my house. I think things were floating around that I didn't even realize.
Uh-huh.
But like outside, like my
Was it
daughter,
windy?
it wasn't windy, but it was just flying around everywhere.
Oh.
Katie had cotton candy she was helping us with the activity from one end to the other.
Yeah, it can get messy. I haven't gotten too messy the times I did it, except one time it was windy. That was, yeah.
Okay.
It'll blow in the wind.
Anyway, the cotton candy was quite popular.
Okay, good to
So
know.
just if you're looking for a good youth activity, get a cotton candy machine because man, boy howdy, they macked down some serious
Yeah.
cotton candy.
So I can't remember. Did you find someone with a machine you could
Yes,
borrow?
we have a lady in our stake who has a machine, and they used her machine last year at the October activity, and it was so popular then that we brought it and we did it at the February activity, and then we didn't do it in the spring activity, but we brought it back for the fall activity.
That would actually be, I think, a good investment for a stake to
Yeah.
buy a cotton candy machine. They're like $200, but like to have it as the stake and
Oh,
then
yeah.
like let your wards use it as they
Let
need
your
it, that would be
wards use
amazing.
it, or 4th of
Mhm.
July. Wouldn't it be a fun thing for
Yeah.
4th of July to have people out there doing cotton candy?
Yeah.
And the sugar isn't too expensive. And you told me a hack
Mhm.
that rather than like buy the pre-flavored sugar, that you can buy the flavoring and then add it to your own sugar. And then it's
Mhm.
like a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
So anyway, and then tonight we had our ward harvest party, and that was really fun. We always
Oh.
do a chili and
Mhm.
soup. So we have a chili cook-off and a soup cook-off because not everybody
Mhm.
likes chili, so we do both varieties.
Okay, did you win anything?
Well, I am in charge of the cook-off. So since
you're
I am in
disqualified.
charge of the cook-off and I select the judges for the cook-off,
Uh-huh.
it would probably be highly inappropriate for me to engage in the
Right.
cook-off.
Okay.
So I step back, and I've run the cook-off for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years now. It's been a while since I've run the cook-off. Well, let's see. The first year we did the cook-off was 2021. So this is our 4th or 5th year doing it, because I don't think we had a harvest party during COVID. I think it was 2021 when we did the first year. And so anyway, but what was interesting is my friend that I had judged this year also judged last year. And she said to me when she's going through all the soups and chilies, she said, "Your people leveled up." She said, "This is much harder this year than it was last year."
Interesting.
She had a lot of very strong contenders. She had difficult choices
Everybody
to
upped
make.
their game. Huh?
Everybody upped their game.
Okay, the funniest story. Our ward had a chili cook-off a couple weeks ago. We couldn't go, so we weren't there. But my friend Amy won second place, and they gave out medals with like around the neck medals with big fire
Yes.
on them, and
Which
they
is
said
funny.
chili cook-off. And which she considers first place because the first place winner was not someone from our ward; it was like a friend that somebody brought from a different ward.
Oh,
So-
if this friend was a
technically-
non-member, I would say, yeah, give it to the
Yes.
non-member. But if it's a friend from another ward, no, I don't think that
So
counts.
she won second place, but technically we're considering it first place.
Yeah, as you should.
So I was dying laughing. She wore her medal to church on Sunday.
Shut up. She did not.
I loved it.
Shut
I cannot tell you how delighted I was when I saw her
Shut.
walk into church with her medal around her neck. It was amazing.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. We do not do a medal, we do a traveling trophy. So I created this traveling
Okay.
trophy out of DI objects
Oh,
4 years
fun.
in 2021. Yeah, so this is the 5th year we've done it.
Oh.
So I created this 5 years ago out of DI objects and some E6000 glue.
Oh, fun.
And so every year, a couple days before the contest, I contact the previous year's winners and I'm like, give me the trophy back. Well, when I went to the lady who won the soup contest, I went to her house on Wednesday night and I said, I got to have the trophy. She said, don't worry, it's coming back to my house. Guess what?
Did it?
She was a repeat winner.
Oh, she would. She loved that trophy.
My
she
trophy
did not want to claw.
is so
She did
janky.
not want to take her hands off. You're gonna have to pry it out of her hands next year.
I know. I'm really and we gave him a little apron in addition to the trophy, which is the first year we've done this. But maybe I need to do a necklace next year in addition to the trophy and say bonus points if you wear it to church on Sunday and brag about your winnings.
Definitely.
Okay. Tell Amy I'm going to need a picture of her necklace.
Yes.
Please
I will.
send it to me so that I can make sure that I can create this necklace, because when we were making assignments for the ward party, my Relief Society president said, okay, they haven't made any assignments yet. Should we select our own destiny and figure out which assignments we want so that we can claim those assignments? I said, oh, we should for sure.
Absolutely.
I said, chili contest, I can do that in my sleep. And so I got all the forms. All I have to do is just print stuff up. I got running the chili contest down to a science.
Nice.
So.
Very nice.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we've probably host chatted way longer than we should.
We do have some news stories.
We do. So
One just dropped today.
let's just start with this first one that dropped today, that the church is adding 55 missions effective July 1st of 2026.
That's a lot of missions.
That is a lot of missions. That is 55 new mission presidents and presidencies,
right.
mission offices, mission cars,
Uh-huh.
mission
All the
everything.
organization.
All
yeah.
the organization. And so that's going to bring the number of church missions worldwide to 506. Now, it should be no surprise that the largest number are being created in Africa. There's 16 new missions in Africa, 14 new missions in the United States, 5 in the Philippines, 5 in the Pacific, 4 each in Europe and South America, 3 in Brazil, 2 in Canada, 1 each in Asia and Mexico. So the one that is closest to us is they are creating a new mission in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which tracks with they're going to have a temple up there.
Yeah.
Now, there was one new creation in California that members of your family are quite excited about.
Yes, all my in-laws are from Ontario, California, and they're getting their own mission.
I
The family group chat was a buzzing today.
I bet Doug and Peggy are just over the moon excited.
And we also have one of them now lives in Coeur d'Alene, so they
Oh,
were excited too. So
well, and this tracks with what we learned at conference, which is, I mean, right now we have the highest number of missionaries, 84,000 that we've ever had out there. And that the growth, the exponential growth in the church is just kind of
Right.
mind blowing. So
well, and it's interesting because it's total speculation, but part of me says, oh, is this going to be President Oaks's thing?
oh,
Is missionary work going to be his thing? But then when you think about it, like this probably has been in the works for a long time.
exactly. I don't think
Like-
this is something Dallin H in the
He
last
probably
2
didn't
weeks went,
Just whip that out in 2 weeks.
I want 55 new missions. Because
Yeah.
I mean, they have to obviously geographically
Right.
look at where they are experiencing
Right.
growth, where they need to direct people,
What makes sense?
what
Yeah.
makes sense. And so anyway, so what's really interesting is, okay, so 55 new missions, that brings the total to 506. So you got to figure, okay, you had about 450 missions. A third of those mission leaders turn over every
summer, right?
every summer. And so, that is about 125 every summer, but now you're going to have like 175, give or take, this next summer. And so you're going to have a section where you're not going to have equalized.
You're gonna have a bubble.
You're gonna have a
every
bubble.
3 years, it's gonna be a nightmare.
Trying
to
they're like,
get all those
oh, we're
people
just going to
called.
call you as mission leaders for 2 years. And
Uh-huh.
but why would you do that? Because I'm sure being a mission leader is not unlike being a missionary, that you spend the first 6 to 9 months walking around in a daze going, what happened to me and what am I doing? And then you finally get into the flow of what you're doing, and then you can be like much more effective.
Right.
I don't know. That's just my speculation.
Yes.
Having never been a mission leader and having never even served a mission.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to the
Okay.
next story.
Next story is the Tabernacle Choir just revealed the guest artists for this year's Christmas concert. We love the Christmas concert.
You got to go last
No, I didn't get to go. I got picked from the lottery last year.
I thought you went down. Did you end up not going
We
down?
couldn't go. It didn't work out. It was like right in the middle of all the different kids' stuff, and it just didn't work out. We were trying to make it work. but we couldn't. So I'm going to throw
Aw.
my name in again this year
Well, I'm going to too.
because I did look at the dates this year, and as of now, like I think
So when are the dates?
there won't be conflicts.
Do
It
we
is
know?
December 11th,
Oh, 11th
through
and through 3rd.
13th.
Okay, 13th. Okay,
But between now and then, 5 more like things will come up. So,
exactly.
But I'm going to try.
And I'm going to
So-
try too.
So this year's guests are Stephanie J. Block and her husband, Sebastian Arkellis.
Okay.
And they are married. And this is the first time they've ever had a married couple as the guests. He is an actor. He was on Madam Secretary. She is also an actress, and she is, I think, has been on Broadway.
She's done
So-
a number of Broadway shows, including the national tour of Wicked. She was Elphaba.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Okay.
So if she's Elphaba, she's got some
Oh,
pipes.
She's going to be a good
So
singer.
we've had Kristen Chenoweth
Mhm.
as our why can't I remember the lead character's name now?
The happy one.
The happy one. Glinda. Galinda.
Wow.
So we've had Kristen Chenoweth, who has starred on Broadway as Galinda.
And now we get Elphaba.
And now we get Elphaba. Now she's not the
Okay.
original Elphaba,
But she's one of them.
but she's an Elphaba.
Okay. So yeah, this is the first time they've had a married couple. I remember him from Madam Secretary. I love that show. Did you
I
ever
never watched that show.
Oh, you would like that.
I
It's a good
probably
show.
would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so that'll be fun. And last year's concert will be available to view.
Of course, on
Also-
PBS.
Yeah. So
Now, the article says coming this Tuesday and running through what? November something or other? Running through November 7th. That is when the lottery is open
oh, right.
to get your Christmas concert
Yes.
tickets.
So next week.
So you got to log in.
We
You got
shouldn't
to,
be telling you this because we want them.
I know,
But yes.
you got to log in.
got to create an account.
Got to create an account and then
You pick which days you're available
yes,
and to throw your name in.
throw
for the
your name in.
lottery. So,
Exactly. And then if you're lucky, you get picked.
yes.
Okay.
Good luck.
Good luck. That's exactly right. Okay, our next story is a little bit of a backstory on President Oaks when he got called as an apostle. And I just found this story completely fascinating. I mean, I was alive when this occurred, but I was a teenager. I would have been, I would have been about 16. And let's just face it, when you're 16, you are the most self-absorbed person that and anywhere. So at that time, President Spencer W. Kimball was the prophet, and his health was failing. And I do remember that for a number of years, we really didn't see or hear much from him because his health was so bad. So there were 2 openings for apostles. Elder LeGrand Richards died in January 1983, which created 1 vacancy in the Quorum of the 12. And then Mark E. Peterson died in January 84, which created a 2nd vacancy. So they went for a whole year between LeGrand Richards and Mark E. Peterson dying without calling a new apostle, because I guess I didn't realize this. The calling of the new apostle is falls within, I thought it was a Quorum of the 12
me too.
decision.
I didn't realize it's all on the
prophet. And so Mark E. Peterson dies, and now they've got 2 openings, and Spencer Kimball is not of a physical state to be able to call the prophet. And so President Nelson, who was Dr. Nelson at that time and was also President Kimball's heart surgeon, there's a story that there was a particular nurse, and she was talking with Dr. Nelson, and she said she was just so excited for April conference because she thought they'd have 2 new apostles then. And President Nelson says, I was his doctor. I knew it wasn't feasible. President Kimball was not well or coherent enough to do it. I explained to her that calling an apostle is the prerogative of the president of the church, and that President Kimball was simply in no condition to do that. So here's how this all went down. President Hinckley is running the church. He's one of the counselors. In fact, I think he's the only counselor at that point in time that's in good health.
Mhm.
So he's running the church. So he leaves standing orders with President Kimball's caretaker. And those standing orders are, if he ever comes to, if he is ever in his right mind, if he's ever coherent, I don't care what time of day it is or where I am at, you pick up the phone and call me.
Mhm.
So April 4th, 3 days before General Conference, President Hinckley gets a call at 2:30 in the morning saying, President Kimball wants to talk to you. So President Hinckley scurries on down to, I think he was probably living in the Hotel Utah at the time, to his suite at the Hotel Utah. And President Kimball has a very simple message for President Hinckley. He says, call Nelson and Oakes to the quorum of the 12 in that order. That was the message. Nelson, Oakes, that order. So President Hinckley, being the good little foot soldier that he is, was like, okay, I'll do that. He got 3 days before conference.
Wild.
Now, neither of these men at the time are general authorities. President Nelson is a surgeon.
This was also so interesting to
I
me
know.
because I just did not realize. I just never have paid much attention to how they got called. I knew they were a doctor. I knew they were
Yeah.
a former attorney and judge, but I never knew what happened between then and being called. I just assumed
Yeah.
that it was like it is now, where they must have served in an area presidency. Or
Exactly. They get some training.
Like I had no idea they went straight from career to the 12.
Yes, both of them
That
straight
does not happen
straight
anymore,
from
right?
career.
I mean, are these
No.
the last two that ever happened to?
I mean, none of our recent apostles that have been called in the last
Uh-huh.
little while, they have always been, held some sort of a general, whether usually a member of the 70 or, presiding bishopric or area
President of
authority.
BYUI.
President of BYUI.
That counts.
That's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he has 3 days. He's got to find his doctor and his lawyer.
Wow.
So President Nelson was pretty easy to find. He calls up President Nelson and he says he calls him the Friday morning before the Saturday start to conference. So 24 hours before conference, he's calling up President Nelson and he says, is your life in order? And President Nelson says yes. And he's like, good. Tomorrow we're presenting your name to be sustained as one of the 12 apostles. Can you even imagine? Now, Dallin H. Oakes was a little harder to find. Again, this is fascinating because this is pre-cell phone, pre-email.
Right.
Like this is old-fashioned rotary dial-up
Right.
phone. Hey, I'm looking
Like,
for Oakes.
Call the hotel
Yeah.
and ask if there's a guest staying there by the name of.
Or he probably had to start with his family. Hey, I'm looking for Dallin. Where is he? I'm looking for Dallin. Where is he? Hey, where's Dallin? You know where Dallin is? So he tracks him down on Friday night. Now, granted, conference is starting Saturday morning. He tracks him down on Friday night at a Mexican restaurant in Arizona. Calls the restaurant. Hey, I need to talk to Dallin. So they get him on the phone, which apparently, like you and I would probably freak out if we got a call from Salt Lake, because he was a former president of BYU. This was not at all shocking to him to have somebody from Salt Lake calling him.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls him at the restaurant and it's very loud. There's a mariachi band playing. He's there doing kind of a moot court thing. And so President Oakes says, yeah, Gordon, I can't really hear you. Call me at my hotel later. Bye. So he gets back to his hotel, unconcerned with this call from President Hinckley. And President Hinckley says, hey, is your life in order? Don's like, yeah, why you asking? And he says, oh, by the way, we're going to call you tomorrow to be a member of the Council of the 12.
Crazy.
He is a sitting Utah Supreme Court justice at the time. And so President Hinckley says to him, yeah, your life is now going to be in the hands of the Lord. And President Oakes says it just seemed really surreal, which you would think that would be the case. I think it's very different these days. My understanding is they call them into the office. They have a chat with them in the office. If you're getting called into what I lovingly call One Church Plaza in downtown Salt Lake, you got to know something's up.
Yeah. Fascinating.
It's not the telephone call in the Mexican restaurant.
Well, and I wonder, did they have a grace? I'm assuming they had a grace period. Like they announced it at conference.
They did.
But maybe they gave them 6 months to get their affairs in order.
No, they really did. In fact, President Nelson, I think, talks about it. It took him several months to wrap up things he was working on. And the same thing with President Oakes. In fact, he was chairman of the board of PBS at the time he was called. So it did. They gave them a period of time to obviously get their affairs in order. But I just thought the backstory was fascinating.
That was
loved
really
it.
interesting.
Loved it.
Totally.
Okay.
Next article this is just something you have to get online to see if you haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I linked it on the TWIM Facebook page.
So yes, get on and look. It is worth the look. There are pictures that have come out from the church building in Michigan that was attacked. several weeks ago, and this was the police were like concluding the investigation, and so they had a local photographer come and like take pictures of the aftermath, and her name was Stephanie Van Wagner. And her quote is, "What really stood out to me is what was untouched."
Yeah.
And the pictures are wild. You can see burn and ruin, and then there's one picture of
Christ's hand.
Christ's hands that,
It's an artist rendering.
right, that I'm sure was like on a wall
Yeah.
somewhere, no longer, but the picture is untouched.
Yeah. Well, the
Uh,
hand portion
hand part,
of
yeah.
the picture. Yeah.
And then like some hymn books and like
Mhm.
pages of the hymns where they're burned all around the edges, but you can see certain words.
Yeah.
And it's just
It's wild.
really wild to
It's
see. And I
wild.
want to know that the article didn't say, is she?
I don't know.
It just said she was a local photographer. And
Yeah.
that the police asked her to come. So
Yeah.
she may not.
She may not be a member.
But
But I think I got the impression from the article she was touched
yes.
by what remained.
Yes. So go look at the pictures. I mean, wow.
Yeah. We can't do it justice in describing it here.
Yeah.
So, all right. BYU, it's getting ready to turn 150. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
It's old.
Until I read this article.
It's very old. They unburied it.
150, that is old.
They unburied a time capsule last week or
Mhm.
the week before. I think the twin siblings talked about the time capsule. But in any event, because this is BYU and because we don't drink alcohol or consume any other types of substances like that, what we do consume in large quantities as members of the church is sugar. So BYU cannot have a birthday without ice cream. So they decided many months ago, in honor of BYU's 150th birthday, that they needed to create a new ice cream flavor. Now, you would think creating an ice cream flavor would be kind of a relatively like uncomplicated process.
I would love that job.
How hard can it be?
Give me there. I'll do it.
Okay. Well, apparently it's a little more complicated than you and I think. So they sent out a survey of flavor ideas to a couple hundred BYU students and faculty and staff. Over the course of the next 2 or 3 months, they took the most popular ideas from that survey and they turned them into roughly 12 flavors of ice cream. And then they went to go source their ingredients. And then they tested the ice creams. And apparently, when you make small batches of ice cream and when you make big batches of ice cream, you may have something that tastes really good in a small batch, but it does not convert well to a large batch. So they lost a couple flavors that way. And so finally, they got down to about 5 flavors. They had a committee of 20 students, department chairs to rank the flavors. The committee thought, well, they're strong contenders, but there wasn't really anything that stood out. They really wanted something that screamed BYU. And there just really wasn't anything that screamed BYU. So the gentleman who was in charge of this, let's see what his last name is, McDonald. BYU's executive chef, John McDonald. So John McDonald is, pouring over all of this again, trying to find the inspo for the perfect BYU flavor. And then it comes to him. He's like, I should make a swirl ice cream. We have never done a swirl ice cream before. So then he starts thinking about flavors that are unique to BYU that he could swirl together.
Mm-hmm.
Mint brownie. If you are a BYU student, you understand the mint brownie.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, okay, I want to do a play on that with white chocolate ice cream, and blue mint was the idea. And then obviously cookies are huge. So they used brownie pieces and caramel pieces to tie it all together. So they create this. The committee raved. It was the perfect flavor. There are some others that were made the short list: huckleberry, chocolate truffle, and cougar tail ice creams.
Oh.
So those were on the list. That we like them, but they're not quite there representing the 150th birthday. This one does. It is only going to be available for a limited time.
Okay.
So
Here's my concern.
okay.
Aggie ice cream at Utah State,
Yes.
their signature flavor is a blue mint chocolate chip.
Oh, that's very true.
I mean, this is different. It's a swirl. There's brownies and cookies in it. I'm just saying.
Did he knock it off?
Blue mint is kind of an Aggie thing.
Mm.
So,
Are the Aggies going to claim copyright infringement?
this might start another holy war. I don't know.
Oh.
Or an ice cream war.
Anyway,
Like a cookie war.
it is only going to be available through next year. The other interesting thing he
Mhm.
said is their number one flavor is Graham Canyon.
I'm not surprised.
I am not surprised
Everybody
either.
loves Graham Canyon.
I am
Mhm.
surprised other ice cream companies haven't tried to replicate Graham Canyon.
Oh yeah, I would buy that in the grocery store.
I would buy it in a heartbeat in the
on,
grocery
fill 'em up.
store because I love Graham Canyon. Anyway,
Yes.
so he said, when it first was introduced, it's just risen in popularity over the
Mhm.
years. And cookies and cream and chocolate chip cookie dough are the other ones.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, so if you get yourself to Provo in the next 6 to 8 months or so,
I want to try it.
I would totally try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be there in the next 6 to 8 months.
All right. So speaking of
Okay.
rivalries, last weekend
We have got to talk BYU sports.
we have to talk Holy War.
So last weekend was the infamous Holy War between BYU and Utah's University of Utah football. It was hosted at BYU this year. Last year, it was hosted at the U.
It didn't end so well.
Last year was a little rough. Here's what happened last year. The BYU won the game barely at the last minute based on like a call by the ref, which was controversial.
It was a controversial
call by the ref. So in 2024, they did win at the last minute. And afterwards, the Utah athletic director, Mark Harlan, on the mic, just went after the referees and saying the game was stolen. And
The Big 12 didn't really like that.
the other thing that was like not great is the Utah fans were taunting in the end zone, and a fan threw a water bottle that hit BYU, the head cheer coach of BYU. That
Yeah.
fan was arrested. So there was some bad behavior, as there usually is
Yeah.
at these things on both sides. So,
Well, and I think it wasn't a
but-
Utah fan. It was BYU players taunted Utah fans in the end zone.
oh,
And then in return, they struck
in
the
return, they threw
BYU
the water
cheer
bottle.
coach.
Okay.
Now, and before they had done that, the president of the two universities had instituted this campaign, Rival Right.
Right. So they started
Which
this campaign called
didn't
Rival Right.
Work out so well for him last
Didn't
year.
work out in 2024. They tried again this year. So the two
Give them props.
the two university presidents, Taylor Randall and Shane Reese, got together and made another video, little like 30-second video
Yes.
campaign for rivaling right, and like let's like celebrate, let's be on our best behavior,
Let's play nice. Let's be peacemakers.
all the things, yada yada yada. So, and I think
I didn't hear that there were any
things
problems
went
this
better.
year.
There was one issue, which
Well,
we'll get to.
He's Mormon behaving badly. We'll get to him.
But as far as we know, we haven't heard any major
Yes.
stories. I saw all the pictures of the statues at BYU wrapped in saran
Of
wrap
course.
leading up to this.
But they've been
Which
doing that for years.
They've always done. I remember that happening when
Yes.
I was there. But again, I'm always like, couldn't you just take a little like box cutter and down the
Saran wrap.
I mean, I guess it helps. I mean, it can't hurt.
And how much saran wrap does your catering, your chief chef, John McDonald, have to order in for you to wrap all your statues?
Oh, a lot. Like a truckload. So
And do you get the swirly thing? Like when you're moving,
when you're moving and it's on. Oh, for sure they have the roll.
and it just like
Yeah.
you roll it around.
Yeah, they're buying that stuff at like the U-Haul store.
Okay, so maybe they're not necessarily ordering it through BYU
Yeah.
Catering. They're ordering it through the moving people.
Yes.
Okay.
So
All right. Well,
Anyway.
speaking of the Holy War, Fox's Big Noon Kickoff arrived in Provo.
yes.
Now, they came to Provo last year. That last year, I think it was last year. I want to say it was last year.
And it wasn't the Utah game. It was a different.
Yes, it
Wasn't
was-
Arizona.
Oh, I don't remember,
I
but
can't remember.
they came to Provo. They had never been to Provo before. They were a little blown away by Provo, I think, when they came last year. So they decided, okay, we're going to come back this year for the Holy War. And they'd actually been in Salt Lake, I think, 2 weeks
Mhm.
earlier for a
Doing
Utah
one at
game,
U.
doing
Yeah.
one at the Utah game. So I did not watch the Holy War, but I watched all of the stuff leading up to Fox's Big Noon Kickoff and everything that went on with that, because let me tell you, that was far more entertaining
It's highly entertaining.
than
And
the Holy War.
I missed it because I was at soccer games. So all I saw was the fourth quarter of the soccer games, but the first or the fourth quarter of the actual game.
Okay.
So I missed the noon kickoff, but the first thing I did, like while I was watching the
Yes.
fourth quarter of the game, I was on my phone scrolling for the signage.
Yes.
Because if you listened last year, you'll remember the best part of the noon kickoff.
They show off, the
are
students
the
show up with
students
signs.
and their signs trying to get on TV.
Yes.
They're so clever.
Yes.
It's the best part.
So read us some of the signs from this year, and then
Okay.
I'll talk about what happened.
The signs did not disappoint. Okay, we'll start here. Utah's defense, more lost than the 116 pages. That was one of my favorites.
That was a good one.
Inside joke.
I don't know if
Noon
the
kickoff
Fox people
are not going to understand.
and I think maybe that is some of their fascination with coming to Provo is they're like, there's a whole undercurrent going on here that we really don't get.
We do not understand
We're
any
not-
of these signs.
We're not in on the joke, but they all are. So this is
Yes.
fascinating.
There's another one. Restrooms, 45 miles. Look for the giant U, and there's a big U on the sign. This one says, the last time Utah beat BYU, I was still a virgin. This one says, mourn with those that mourn, and it has all the logos of the teams
That BYU
has beaten
beat.
so far this
Yeah.
season.
That was a good one.
Oh, I did not like this one.
Okay.
Unappreciated.
Okay.
It says, I have 99 wives, but a Ute ain't one of them. I'm sure that guy got on TV. Well, he did because I saw his sign.
Exactly.
So, anyways.
So I went on Big Noon Kickoff's Instagram just to kind of see how does the party at BYU, and it was a party. In fact, last year they had Cosmo parachute in. This year, Cosmo started off at the top of the stadium and he zip-lined in.
Ooh.
Anyway, so, and then Cosmo like did tricks over some of the hosts. And then at the end, Cosmo jumped off this thing and into a swimming pool, and a couple of the hosts jumped in the swimming pool. Anyway, I wanted to know, how does BYU compare to other universities when Fox's Big Noon Kickoff shows up? First of all, the other universities really, the show starts airing, I think they start recording at some ungodly hour,
Early.
like
Yeah.
6:30 in the morning. So at other universities, students show up at like midnight and start getting there. BYU, we're overachievers. They started camping out Thursday nights for the 6:30 a.m. Saturday morning show. And so there's all sorts of pictures of students with their tents, their sleeping bags, their board games. Anyway, so that was highly entertaining. I think the crowd at BYU was probably twice the crowd that they normally get. They had way more signs than they normally get. I mean, it was just
So big.
it was just a really loud, raucous party. And I'm sure Fox is like, I don't know what's in the water here.
We love attention. Give us attention.
Anyway, another funny thing is one of the hosts on Big Noon Kickoff is a guy by the name of Dave Portnoy. Now, I had never heard of this gentleman until I started going down this rabbit hole last weekend. He apparently has a show called Barstool Sports.
Yes.
Now, my
Heard of-
understanding is this is a very R-rated show
Yes.
that all sorts of four-letter words fly out of his mouth.
This is like, as far as I know, an internet bro show. Like,
Yes.
this would fall under the category of
And-
the bros.
And he doesn't do his show every time they do Fox. He's one of Fox's analysts for Big Noon Kickoff, but he has this separate show. So BYU wanted him to do the separate show and wanted him to do it from BYU, and they said, "Hey, we'll help you. We'll pay for it. We'll do this. We'll do that. We have one caveat: you can't swear." And so he was like, "Oh," and he was like, "I really want to do my show. I really appreciate the offer." But
Deal breaker.
swearing is my jam on
That's
this
his
show.
brand.
So there was a lot of sentiment that BYU wouldn't let him do his show because of his language, and he came on and cleared that up, and he said no. BYU asked me to do the show. The only caveat was they wanted me not to swear, and I made the choice that is something that I didn't want to do. But what he did do, because I guess he does this in all of the towns that he goes to, is he takes recommendations from the people, the local people. Where do I need to go? What do I need to see? He always goes to the college bookstore and ranks the college bookstore. So he had a whole video ranking BYU's bookstore. And he was
I
like,
haven't watched that yet.
oh,
How do we do?
Oh, I can't remember what he ranked us, but he was very unhappy because the parking was really far away and it was in the middle of the student union.
Oh, welcome to BYU.
It's not easy to get to the bookstore. So once he got beyond that and actually got to the bookstore, he really liked the bookstore, tried the fudge, really liked the fudge. So I think he ultimately gave the bookstore a pretty good rating. He just was miffed at the parking and the location. Okay, that's legit.
That's so legit.
So
I
then
miffed at that too.
he's told to go to the creamery. So he
Okay.
goes inside the creamery. And it's really funny because, I mean, he's got his camera crew with him. And like you would think a lot of people would recognize him. I guess maybe the Mormons are big fans of his R-rated show because he's in the creamery and people are just looking at him like, why are you in here? So he gets ice cream at the creamery because he's told. And he waits in line. He's like, man, I'm here in the middle of the afternoon and there's like a line, a 15-minute line. So he gets his ice cream. He goes out of the creamery. He eats his ice cream. And like, I don't know what he rated the ice cream, but it was really high.
Okay.
He loved the ice cream.
Good.
So next he's told,
As we should.
you got to go order a swig drink. So
Oh, this is the one I heard about.
he
Yeah.
goes through Swig and all he's told is order a dirty soda. So he goes through Swig to order this dirty soda. And he says, I want a dirty soda. And they look at him and they're like, what's your base? And he's like, Coke.
Oh my gosh, it's like one of us trying to order something at Starbucks. Like poor guy. Someone needed to tell him.
So he gets this soda. And the soda is like, he's like, this is Coca-Cola with a shot of coconut. What is this? He gives it a 1.8 out of 10. So he's like, I don't understand this. So Swig, not wanting to have negative
Oh,
publicity,
yeah, that's some real bad press.
they show up at Big Noon Kickoff with the properly concocted dirty soda for him. And they say to him, we're sorry you didn't understand how to order a dirty soda. Here is the dirty soda. Here is what's in it. Will you please give us another try?
So did they give him Diet Coke with lime and cream?
I don't know what they gave him, but yeah, he did say it had lime and cream and coconut in it.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was Diet Coke or if it was regular
Okay.
Coke, but they say to him, if you will give this another try, we will give everybody who's here for Big Noon Kickoff a free drink, a card to come to Swig.
That was smart.
It was very
to
smart.
get him to actually play.
It was very smart. And so he drinks the soda and he was like, oh, now I understand what the deal is because he had it properly made. It's just like what you said. It's like us trying to order at Starbucks. We wouldn't even know where to start. And so then he gives it a much higher ranking. But he is so funny because he's just like, well, they don't drink here, they don't swear here, but good gravy, they consume a lot of sugar. So it was so
Our reputation holds.
fascinating to watch somebody who is not a member, who is not familiar with the culture, immerse himself in the culture and try and understand the culture. That was hilarious.
That's so funny.
Anyway, and then I think before we wrap up the Big Noon Kickoff, I think the really cool thing was, so the BYU fans were told not to storm the field after they won the game.
Which of course they will. That happens every time.
It does. Even the BYU coach was like, please don't storm the field. And they stormed the field. Big 12 has a history of fining schools when fans storm the field. So BYU,
Why does Big 12 find the schools? Like, if the field gets ruined, it's BYU's problem, not theirs, right?
Big 12 has rules, I
This is
guess.
fascinating.
No storming the field.
I don't think I realized that fine was coming from Big 12.
Yes, it's
I
coming
heard
from
there
Big
was
12.
a fine, but I don't know who I thought it
Yes.
was coming from.
You know, I don't know if Big 12 thinks, oh, we could get liability. I don't know what
Yeah.
Big 12 thinks. But anyway, Big 12 says don't storm the fields, we'll fine you. Several other schools have gotten fined. So BYU was kind of expecting they were going to get a fine, and the fine is generally in the range of about $50,000. So one of the owners of Crumble Cookies steps up and says, hey, if y'all get fined, Crumble Cookie is going to pay the fine because, again, it's more sugar.
It's some good press.
Some good press.
You cannot buy an ad slot for that good
You
of press.
cannot buy an ad slot for that
that
good of
cheap.
press. So he steps up and says, BYU, don't you worry about that fine. Crumble's got you covered there.
Uh-huh.
Well, as it ends up, Big 12 didn't fine BYU, not sure why. So the owner of Crumble Cookie says, well, I'm not going to let my good $50,000 go to waste because I've already parted with this money, metaphorically speaking.
Right.
So he takes his $50,000. He pays off all the school lunch debt, in Provo and Salt Lake for all the kids that have school lunch debt. And I think the remaining money went into the name, image, likeness program for BYU to be returned to the athletes.
Oh, I love that.
So
that's really cool.
I would like to think that the Rival Right campaign this year actually was successful.
I think it was a success.
I think it was very much a success. So,
and I watched that fourth quarter, so I saw the ending. The football players and coach had some lovely moments on the field hugging
yes.
those from the U, which
Okay.
sets a great example. So there was lots of love there.
All right. Lots of love. So, BYU president Shane Reese, and I can't remember. I think it's like Taylor Randall is the name of the U president. Thank you for your Rival Right campaign. Took a little while to for people to understand, but maybe eventually we're getting there.
Yeah, hopefully it sticks.
Okay, let's go to Mormons in the media.
Okay.
Because we have a lot to talk about with Mormons in the media, and we have saved some good stuff.
Okay, first we are going to hit on the Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Because it is a new season, and we have not talked about them since the new
season.
season.
And they were picked by Us Weekly, the magazine, highly reputable magazine. Us Weekly has chosen them as the cast of Salt Lake City Housewives as the reality stars of the year. And they made the cover. And
they interviewed a bunch of them.
They interviewed them. They did a write-up on a story like, why is the Salt Lake City cast, why are we all so intrigued with them? Why have they won us over, kind of a thing? Andy Cohen of Bravo said, the snow, Mormonism, and their unique history with each other make them their own universe. Like, I think, and this is so interesting to me because I watch a lot of different Housewives franchises.
Mhm.
It is my guilty pleasure. And
hey, there is no shame. No judgment here.
And like, they've been on for what, 5 years now? 4 or 5 years now?
This is their sixth season.
This is their sixth season? Okay. So it became clear to me after probably season 2, I was like, they are surpassing all of the other cities in popularity. And they have just continued to, I think,
really have
grow in popularity. And that was something
would
I
have
never
thought?
Yes, that was something I never expected.
Yeah.
Like when they announced Housewives of Salt Lake City, I never would have expected them to take the top slot of all the Housewives.
No.
That was a surprise.
It was I thought they'd last one season maybe. I was like, people are going to love us.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they interviewed a lot of them on things that have happened over the years. The 5 on the cover were like the originals, not some of the newer ones. But have you been watching this season?
I have been watching this season. It's been so fantastic. We have to talk about Bronwyn.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so Bronwyn was a new addition to the cast last year.
Yes.
So this is her second season.
And she does have an LDS background. Not everybody on the cast does.
Exactly. So she grew up in a very LDS home. She went to BYU. When she was at BYU, when I think she was 18, she ended up pregnant. And there was a lot of shame associated with her pregnancy. At the time that she ended up pregnant, her father was a recorder in the temple. Her parents are very old school, and there was just a lot of shame associated with the pregnancy. Bronwyn I don't think she's ever said, she ended up keeping the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I am sure that probably her parents were like, you need to give this baby up for adoption.
Right, I'm sure.
You can't raise this baby, etc. And so, and the child is now 18. And the biological father, again, another Mormon family, he has passed away. He's never been identified on the show. But what's been so interesting is this year, Bronwyn moved her parents in with her. Her father is suffering from dementia. And so both her father and her mother are living with her. And so we don't really see her dad, but we see these conversations with her mother.
And this is the first time her mom has been on the show at
exactly.
all. And we've heard her last season, we heard her talk about her parents a little bit. But this is the first time we've seen her mom, and they are having the most awkward interactions. Still, this baby is 18, 19 years old now. Their granddaughter is grown. Bronwyn has made a good life for herself. She's remarried a Richie.
Yeah.
older guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's fine. She's
Yeah.
independent. She's
Yeah.
she's not active anymore, but there's still so much trauma around this event of
Yes.
her teenage pregnancy, and you can see it when she has a conversation with her mom. She just goes right back to like 18-year-old her, and her mom is still in that "I'm your mother."
Yeah, exactly. And you brought
And
shame to the family. And
yes, it's
it's
hard to
it
watch.
is so hard to watch, because I think if you are a member of the church, you probably know or have someone in your family who probably behaves like the mom does. And I'm not slamming the mom. I want to make that very clear. The mom is of a generation where that is how they reacted, and that is how we dealt with it. We have come a long way since then. What I think is so sad is I wish that the mom in her journey were evolving to be a little bit more loving and forgiving, because that is exactly what Bronwyn wants. Is she wants the approval of her mother, and all she feels is just critical criticism from her mother. And I just see all these underlying Mormon guilt and tentacles running through their
Yes.
relationship. And it hurts me for both of them. It hurts me for Bronwyn, and it hurts me for the mother, because I just think, you know, if you could figure out a way to process this and move past this, and you, because I think she really does care and love Bronwyn,
Yeah.
you could have such an incredible relationship with Bronwyn, and instead of this strain that we see. But
You know what it made me think of? It made me think of Latia, remember the Bachelorette
yes,
that was LDS, and she took the Bachelor, or she was a contestant
uh-huh,
on the Bachelor. She took the Bachelor home to meet her family, and I have never ever seen such a great portrayal of like an LDS loving, accepting,
yeah.
come into our house, we have nothing but love kind of a family. I was like, oh my gosh, they're making us look so good. And this is the opposite. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's making us look a little crazy.
Well, and what I hope we see,
Mm,
and again, we're not through the season, I hope we see an evolution of their relationship.
yeah.
I don't know if we will or not. I mean, you know, old wounds run deep.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if we will or not, but you know, hats off to Bronwyn for opening this up, and hats off for her mom for agreeing to be on reality TV and talk about all of
No,
this.
I'm shocked that she would. So I mean, there is that.
There is that. And
So,
Bronwyn does say that and again, we are just seeing a very edited version. So we are probably only seeing the really awkward stuff. We're not really seeing the fun
Right.
stuff, because I read an interview where Bronwyn was talking about the crew, and the crew just adores her mother. So I am guessing there's probably another side to the mother that we are not seeing, and we're maybe just seeing some of the really awkward conversations. But it's been fascinating to watch nonetheless.
yes, it has.
Okay, sticking with Bronwyn.
Or Salt Lake
Or
Housewives.
Salt Lake Housewives, excuse me. Yes.
Heather Gay, another Salt Lake housewife who has left the church and been very vocal,
Written a couple of books.
written a couple of books. She is now coming out with a series, a limited series.
It's a 3-part series on Bravo.
Yes, with Bravo, called Surviving Mormonism. This is not going to be good.
It's not going to be a good look for us.
I've seen the previews. It's going to have some tough stories. She's interviewing several people who have
Abuse.
left the church and have had really like traumatic
Yeah.
things. It sounds like abuse, and I don't know what else, but definitely abuse, we can tell, is one of them from the preview. So that is going to be tough. That's coming out November 11th is the first episode. So I don't know. I'm really torn up. I really, really like Heather Gay
I do too.
on The Real Housewives
do
of Salt
too.
Lake City. She's just hard not to like. And
Exactly.
I know that she has really hurt feelings about the church, and she sometimes misrepresents what I
Mhm.
think the church
Mhm.
is, kind of exaggerates
Exactly.
some of
I
like the dark parts of us. I mean, I'm not saying the church is perfect, but she tends to kind of exaggerate the things that are tough about that have happened
there
in
is
our
some
church.
tough
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, we cannot deny that there has been
Right.
abuse that has happened that hasn't been reported, that probably should have.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that we're getting better at that. Have we
Right.
been good at that in the past? No, we have not.
No.
But I think that we are getting better. And so,
So it's kind of tough with her.
Yeah.
She really focuses on that a lot, and not always on the. It's not like she talks about that all the time on the show.
no,
But as a person on the show, I really, really do enjoy her. She's
I
just
know.
so funny and likable and sweet, and I really do think she has a good heart.
I don't think I'm going to be able to watch the Bravo thing. I don't think I'm going to be able to stomach it.
It's going to be tough.
But in response to that, because as members of the Church of Jesus Christ, we are nothing if not positive, we like to take our lemons and make lemonade.
Ah,
So guess what we've done? We've made some we have not made the
not us
lemonade,
personally, but somebody online has.
but we're going to report about the lemonade. So this series is called Surviving Mormonism. So apparently, if y'all go on the X, it is trending hashtag Surviving Mormonism on the X. And so you can go there and you can go to these hashtags and you can see things. And I was following somebody on watching a story on Instagram today. And so people are writing about their surviving Mormonism.
They're comical.
They're
versions.
comical. So this is one of them. Surviving Mormonism. And it's just me trying to refrain from cooking anything in the kitchen that's only meant for warming and serving food. Or Surviving Mormonism. And it's just me in Sunday school trying to figure out which way the sign up sheet should be going.
I love that one so much.
Surviving Mormonism. But it's just me mentally preparing for the next year when I have 9 a.m. church.
That is literally me right now. I do have 9 a.m. church next year.
I know. Well, no, I have 12 o'clock. I have 12 o'clock church. Yeah, I've got 12 o'clock church next year.
Anyways, I love this so much. People have kind of taken the hashtag and run with it and put in their jokes and
Yeah, in
funny
fact,
stuff.
there was a whole article that just dropped tonight in the Deseret News about it. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here because we're running short on time. But I linked it in the Surviving Mormonism. It's just a church member showing up with cookies. Anyway, there's a whole article on the Deseret News. I linked it on the Facebook account tonight. But they have Surviving Mormonism. It's just me having to retrieve the cart. And they have a picture of pulling out the cart underneath the stage that contains chairs and
that
tables.
lives in the dark hole under the stage.
Exactly. So anyway.
So there's some funny ones.
Or Surviving Mormonism, but it's just me carrying a bunch of chairs to impress girls in my ward. Anyway, so there's some funny ones. So I'm glad that we are finding a way to take something that's probably going to be really negative and flip it around to say, hey, there's some funny stuff about us.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's do our Mormon behaving badly before we get into our favorite things. This again goes back to the big game. There was a Utah man. He was out of Huntington and he was booked into the Emory County Jail. His name is Christopher Justice. He's 28 years old. He decided to get on the X and exercise his free speech and said, nah, anyone wearing red on Saturday is getting shot. Enjoy a bullet to the head. Any Ute fan I see is dead. Mark my words. I'll never forget the amount of hatred I felt for Utah sitting in the front row 5410 beat down in 2011.
Wow. He is really holding a grudge from 2011 over a ding dang football game.
You might need a little therapy. I'm just saying. So he got arrested.
That is tough in this day and age. Who is still getting online threatening to shoot people and thinking nothing's going to happen?
I know. I know.
You just can't do that.
I know. No, you really can't. So here's our Mormon behaving badly.
Okay.
All right, let's go to favorite things.
Okay, my favorite thing.
What do you want to share for your favorite thing?
An Instagram account. I cannot remember if I've shared this account already because my memory's bad and I haven't been updating our Instagram, which is usually how I keep track of these things.
Fair enough.
But this Instagram account is called Peaches and Diesel. This woman likes to take runway fashion and recreate them hilariously from her home. Like she takes the most ridiculous runway fashion and is like, I'm going to make my version. And she sews it up on her sewing machine. And she recently did her version of the Kim Kardashian Skims underwear that is like made of fur that everybody is like.
It's disgusting.
That is apparently sold out, but everyone in America is like, what?
Why? Do you think maybe Kim only made 5 pairs
I think
so she could then say, "Oh, look,
I
sold
think
out."
so. I think she made very few pairs and did it as a joke just to prank us all and punk us all and be like, look what I can get away with. Like, I can sell anything. Anyway, she did her version. Peaches and Diesel did her version, which is hilarious. So y'all need to go watch it. And yeah,
Okay,
you got to find fun things on social media these days or you won't survive.
it's true.
So,
I got 2 Instas.
ooh, are they
Okay.
fun too?
They are fun. So the first one is this gentleman. His name is, I'm going to totally mispronounce his first name. I believe he's Tongan. Anyway, it is Siopi Kinney.
Okay.
He is a member of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you remember Conference, the guy with the mustache?
Yes. There were like memes floating around with
Yes.
the mustache guy.
He's really good friends with the mustache guy.
Oh,
and
I wanna
he has
go.
made funny videos with the mustache guy.
Oh, the mustache guy's like gonna like come out and like we actually get to see him.
The mustache guy has a sense of humor.
Oh,
And apparently he has a sense of humor about all of his memes.
oh, I'm excited.
And
about
so,
this.
like, here's a video right here.
Uh-huh.
I must ask you a question. And they have a picture of him
oh,
singing.
there he is.
And they're doing a take on like how long did it take that to grow you? Like they're doing Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
They're going back and forth on
okay.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
and then
that's
there's
funny.
another one where they're going back and forth on this one on Nacho Libre.
Okay.
And he's got some of his choir friends in there. Anyway, you've got to go find that
how
account.
funny.
It is really
Okay.
funny.
I love
Okay. So speaking of Nacho Libre, there is a BYU cheerleader. Okay. And his
Okay.
name is Ammon Montenegro.
that. Okay.
Okay. Now I am going to pull up a picture here. Who does Ammon Montenegro look like?
Oh,
He looks like Jack Black.
yeah, he does a little bit.
And he's built like Jack
I
Black.
like his hair looks like Benson Boone, but yeah.
Anyway,
I can
so
see that.
he is a BYU cheerleader, and you think the typical cheerleader, like kind of tall, skinny,
Uh-huh.
dude is built like a football player.
Yeah, he does look like a
In
football
fact,
player.
he said, I used to be a football player. And then I don't know if like he had some injury or couldn't play football anymore.
Uh-huh.
So he takes up cheer.
okay.
And so he's one of the base guys that supports the cheerleaders
Right.
that flip and
the
twirl,
flyers.
the
Mhm.
flyers. Anyway, he's got a pretty funny Instagram account too. So
Okay.
I highly recommend him.
This is great. I need some happy Instagram people to follow.
We all need some happy Instagram people to
I
follow.
was so happy when Taylor Swift's album came out because my Instagram feed was full of that instead of politics, and that lasted 2 weeks, and now we're back.
Ugh.
So I gotta like fix it.
Okay. Before we close, I think we need to note that it is October 24th. We are at New Garment Watch Day 24,
Oh,
and still no
yes.
sign of new garments, because we cannot have an episode without talking about the
That's
new garments.
Did you see the meme floating around this week? It was a skeleton
Yes.
sitting in a bed, and the caption was, "Just me sitting here waiting for the new
The
garments."
skeleton
to
has
drop."
the laptop on her lap. So yes, Day 24 Garment Watch.
So the
We-
question is, by the time we podcast next month, will they have dropped? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I am of little faith.
I'm of little faith too. I'm putting no on that. So church, prove me wrong.
Yes.
Prove us wrong.
We would love to be wrong about
We
this.
would love. Normally I don't like to be wrong about anything, but this is one of those things I would like to be wrong about.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we'll report back next month.
Maybe I need to have a running like flip thing of new garment watch day 49.
Yes. Totally.
Okay. All right, Twim Nation, thank you for joining us tonight. I don't know about you, I've thoroughly appreciated being here
Oh, it
tonight.
was so fun.
We had a good time. So thank you very much. We appreciate you listening to us. If you have any questions, you can reach out at contact@thisweekinmormons.com. Find us on the Facebook. I'm trying to do a pretty good job of throwing stuff up on the Facebook. So as always, we appreciate your support. Thank you.